to welcome you to the February 27th Village Board Meeting. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Charlene, welcome back.
Thank you so much. It was a long 14 months, 18 days, and 5 hours at 6:30.
All right.
Not to be here and sometimes be in a little pain, but anyway, it was felt so long, and so, I don't know, I'm just glad to be back.
Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
So you want to start us off with roll call, please?
I will. Rick Singowski,
Here.
Ron Stapleton,
Here.
Janelle Kittredge. Here. Dave Maher.
Here.
Okay, and Ken McCafferty is absent this evening, and Kevin Shaughnessy.
Here.
Okay.
All right. All right, start us off. Consent agenda consists of the following. We have approval of disbursements February 14th through February 27th of this year. We have an ordinance O-07-23 amending the Lamont, Illinois Municipal Code, Title 15 Building Code of the Village of Lamont, and Title 17 Unified Development Ordinance. We have a resolution, R-15-23, approving the capital improvement plan for the Village of Lamont for fiscal year 2024. We have a resolution, R-16-23, reducing the letter of credit for the Villas of Equestrian Meadows. We have a resolution, R-17-23, reducing the letter of credit for Equestrian Meadows subdivision. We have an inducement, resolution R-18-23 for the proposed 135th Street TIF District. Need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Stapleton. Can we, is there any questions or comments by the board members? George, anything else to add? All right, roll call, please.
Singowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge.
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty absent. Shaughnessy,
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Next up, we have the mayor's mention. This Saturday, March 4th, is the 31st St. Patrick's Day Parade. It's my pleasure to announce the Lamont Area Historical Society's selection for the 2023 St. Patrick's Day Queen, which is Shay Manning. So congrats to Shay. Shay is a senior at Lamont High School and will be crowned the Queen of our St. Patrick's Day Parade. Again, this Saturday, March 4th. The parade begins at 1 p.m. and the route heads south on Stevens Street and west on Main Street and ends at the Lamont VFW with, of course, refreshments and entertainment. And it's been known to be the area's shortest parade. Therefore, we get a lot of participants from the local political leaders. But again, please check it out. It's always a fun time. Restaurants, taverns, bars, it's a lot of excitement. Jason, are you playing this year?
You better believe it. Yeah, I even wore my filthy Dan tie today in honor, getting ready for Saturday. We'll be tuned up and ready to go.
You don't have your kilt on right now, do you?
Hey, it's Zoom.
All right, okay. We won't ask you to stand up then, so. But please visit our calendar for more information at lamont.il.us. Before the parade on Saturday, please check out the grand opening of the new fitness court in the downtown near the lofts on Front Street. The event is from 11 a.m. until noon with demos of the equipment by the core personal trainers, a DJ, raffles, and free giveaways. Please visit lamontparkdistrict.org for more information. There are still spots open for the Lamont Public Library's blood drive on Wednesday, March 1st from noon to 6 p.m. Please visit the link on our community calendar to sign up. Next up, we have the clerk's report.
Thank you. A resolution R-19-23 approving the professional services agreement between H.R. Green Incorporated and the Village of Lamont, Illinois for the lead service line replacement program.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
All right, motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Snagowski. Roll call, please. Is there
Snagowski?
anything to add there?
We'll do it under staff report.
Okay.
Jason had an update on the 150th anniversary, I should mention. So
Awesome.
we'll do it under Jason's staff report. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
Clafferty is absent this evening. Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Okay. Next up, village attorney report.
And Mike could not make it today. He had a conflict at the last minute, so he has no report.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
All right, George, administrator report.
No report. As I mentioned prior, I will defer mine to Jason Berry, who's got a report on the village's 150th anniversary of incorporation. So I will turn it over to you, Jason, if you wouldn't mind.
All right. Let me share this presentation here that Linda put together for us, and there we go. Thanks, everybody. So as we all know, the village is celebrating the 150th anniversary of our incorporation. Lamont first voted to incorporate as a village on June 9th, 150 years ago, 1873. So as part of this momentous year for us, we launched a 150th anniversary logo contest. We had 7 submissions for our contest, and of course, we would like to thank all the submitters, and we'll take a look at each of them before we'll reveal the winner as chosen by the 150th Anniversary Commission. So our first submission here is from Rebecca Collins. Note that there are very specific criteria that had to be met so we could utilize the image in different formats and incorporate it with different backgrounds. The next submission is from Marshall Sanford. You'll see why they have the different colors in the same design. That's because of the criteria that the village established for its logo. We have a submission here from Sam Schiller. Peter Duschel submitted this logo. And we have 3 that were submitted by Ann Pyatt. Her first, this one, and another one by Ann Pyatt. And so now, drum roll please. The logo contest winner is Mr. Marshall Sanford. Design. He was given a $150 gift card to the Lamont business of his choice, and he chose the Forge Lamont Quarries Adventure Park. So we're excited to get that over to Marshall. A little background: Marshall's from Lansing, Illinois, and enjoys attending events in Lamont. He did a lot of research, and the design met all of our required criteria. He is a creative director at a healthcare advertising agency in Oak Brook. Having lived in the suburbs throughout his life, Marshall said when designing the Lamont 150th anniversary logo, he felt it was important to incorporate its heritage and landmarks into a single design. The flowing water within the 150 pays homage to the Illinois-Michigan Canal, the Des Plaines River, and other waterways that flow through Lamont. And the top semicircle border alludes to the historic Charles Fruhoff building on Stevens Street in downtown. The shades of blue represent the water of the canals and rivers, where the gold shows off the village's ornate architecture. The typeface is a representation of a neoclassical style of the 1800s, paired with a modern and clean accent, merging old and new. The combination of all these elements is meant to represent Lamont throughout its storied history. Marshall says he is honored to have his logo design represent Lamont in celebrating our 150th anniversary. We were able to make a few design and a few changes based on feedback from comments in the committee and staff. And so this here is the final design for our 150th anniversary logo. We'll be seeing it this year on our vehicle sticker. This was designed by Dan Molka of the Heritage Corridor Business Alliance. You could see the village's clock in the background here. It'll also be used this year on the village's on the Heritage Corridor Business Alliance banner program, which the village supports. You'll see these banners on State Street this year, and they'll be used throughout town on merchandise and in other creative ways. Also, thanks to Dan for designing our 150th anniversary website. This website is lamont150.com. It houses event information. We have stories about the history of Lamont. They had fun putting together all the many films that were shot here in Lamont. And of course, famous Lamonters. We may have to find room to add our illustrious state representative.
Dartboard material.
As more information events will be added throughout the year. We want to thank everybody that is part of this. We have a great committee made up of many different agencies, and because everybody's participating and sharing stories of the 150th anniversary, we'll be able to have events all year long. Also want to personally thank Linda Molitor, who has done an incredible job organizing this, and Donna Pacina as well, who helped get out the information about the contest. So thanks to both of them too. They deserve recognition as well. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Jason. It's gonna be a heck of a celebration, right, Jason?
Oh yeah, we will. We know how to have fun.
No, looking forward to it. All right. Any other staff reports? Ralph? Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one real quick, was passed along from the Cook County Sheriffs and the Cook County Courts to give notice to our folks about a theft by deception scam that they have occurring at their virtual court houses. So during Zoom, they set up a virtual Zoom option to appear at court on traffic tickets. So when somebody gets a traffic ticket, now they get a key, and it has the different Zoom call-in numbers depending on when their court date is. So what's been happening is defendants are appearing on Zoom, and they're because these numbers are out there, they're contacted on the private chat function within Zoom by an offender who claims to be a court officer. And when they go to that private chat, then they're told that their case can be dismissed for a fee by sending Zelle, and some folks are falling for that. So the court wants folks to know that nobody will ever contact them through that chat function or ask them for money for that chat function, and that all those are scams. So they're always finding a way to manipulate and take advantage of folks, but they wanted that passed along.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Any other new or old business? All right. Before we get into audience participation, I want to, recognize we have a big crowd here tonight, and I appreciate everyone coming out. Tonight, George will talk to you a little bit about what this 135th TIF vote was about. There's a long process here, gang. We have not, in fact, I was talking to a gentleman earlier beforehand. I have not even seen the layout of it yet, okay? So let's just talk a little bit about what the process is so everyone understands kind of where we're at with this. And then obviously we want to hear from you as well with the audience participation.
Yeah, there's two kind of parallel, track in terms of a development, review of what gets developed on a site, and the village has been evaluating opportunities for development west of Smith Road. TIF is a tool for economic development, so those could go hand in hand, and they may go hand in hand. We've utilized TIF primarily in Cook County, in our downtown and down at 83 in Maine. Tonight, under the consent report, there has been no TIF developed or created. That's a step where if there is a TIF one day, created or developed. It creates a stamp in time where a development's taxes could be reimbursed if there is a TIF and if there is a development. So it's a step in the process we have another one out at Walker Road for a future TIF that still has not been established, or a development that has occurred yet for, you know, a future phase of the Forge potentially that has not come to fruition. So that's just more of a first step that if nothing ever does occur, becomes a moot point, then you just file it away with all of our other 100 resolutions that we approve year in, year out. So that's just on the TIF side. In terms of the development, as we all know, when large landowners and properties come up for sale, you know, the village board and the village wants to be able to have a seat at the table to ensure that we are able to regulate that particular piece of property, to ensure that the village can, you know, make sure it lines up with our development ordinances, make sure it lines up with our long-term plans, long-term codes, and ensure our long-term interests. So we want the ability to have a seat at the table for when larger tracts of land become available and sell. We want to be able to regulate them so that they're not being regulated by the county or a neighboring jurisdiction. And you can go back in time, you go back in, you know, decades, years, rather than, you know, you name the town, Woodridge, Palos Park, unincorporated towns. We would like a seat at the table. We want to be able to regulate those areas.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's kind of what we're looking at, and just before the mayor jumps in on that point, you know, one thing, there's a developer interested in property west of Smith Road. The reason why I think there's people at this meeting, we told that developer before even coming with a formal application, we want them to meet with the neighbors, and that's, you know, that's what happened last Tuesday. I see a few people in the crowd. You know, Jim, Dave, Gina, I told them, meet with your neighbors, show them concepts, get some input, and that's what happened last week, and I think that's why there's people here, and that's good. We want that feedback. There's gonna be follow-up meetings, and I think we're one of the few towns that will encourage those meetings, so go ahead.
Yeah, and unfortunately or fortunately, we've had situations, either it be Woodridge, you know, north side of town, south side, east side, not too much on the west, but we are surrounded in Lamont by a lot of unincorporated area. And either it be golf courses, you name it, they're eventually gonna sell. And when they sell, we've learned the hard way, we wanna be at the table. If it's gonna be in our backyard, we want to have at least a say in what's going on, because unfortunately, too many times we've not been at the table, and these go into other municipalities or they stay unincorporated. So we look at this as a way of, if it's going in our backyard, we want to make it, we talked about safety earlier, we want to make it as safe as possible. We want to make it as, you know, less intrusive as possible. We want it to be the best it could be, because at the end of the day, these landowners, they do have rights, you know, and sometimes going the unincorporated route is the way they could go. I know we have someone from Will County here, is that correct? You know, we've seen things go unincorporated as well, and it's not always ideal. And again, so we have a long process to go. What we're trying to do is go through the process. We want to make sure we hear from you. And again, that's why we told the developer, hey, we're not, you know, go and have a separate meeting with, you know, your specific group, these landowners. Tell them what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. Again, this is just more information. We're trying to make it as transparent as possible. This is the very beginning of it. I'll tell you that. Again, we haven't seen any of the plans. I know some of the plans were showing potentially at that meeting.
Yeah, and legally there is a, and we talked about this, when there is a formal application, there is a process that all developments go through that require relief from our particular zoning code. They go through planning and zoning, which has a separate appointed board of this village board. So there's a process that holds a public hearing, that takes comment. So there's an entire process that follows that we haven't even started. So I think that's also important. I know Ron, Rick, you guys were on those committees long before you were trustees. You like to hear input from those committee members. Trustee Maher was also on that committee. So there is an entire process. I tell people all the time, I know development can be scary, and I hear you. Please let the process play out. There are many layers, and hopefully all layers provide a component to the process that makes all development either better or eventually puts it back to the process to makes it different. That if you're right that you don't think it's right for the site, then the process will play out in your favor. So I think just let the process play out.
So, I mean, before this is ever disapproved by the board or approved by the board, the applicant has to go through that process. And the official meetings it would be what, planning and zoning? That would be a public meeting. It would go in front of a committee of the whole, which would be us. And then if it makes it that far and we vote on it, then it goes to a board meeting like tonight, okay? So if there are other components to it, so that's, a quick rundown of what's going on. Just want to make sure we have a big group here tonight, and we just want to make sure people understand kind of where we're at right now. And with that being said, no more unfinished or new business, right? So we're going to open it up for audience participation. George will run that, and he'll give you the
Yeah,
rundown.
if you want to start, sir, you come up to the podium,
Yeah.
and then please, we have to try to keep it to 3 minutes. It's part of our rules.
The
here tonight.
microphone this is being recorded, right?
Correct. It was just state your name, and then and I'd love to rather, we can have further, and we've had meetings in my office, and we could do that offline, but
You know what, maybe I can borrow somebody else's 3 minutes too, just in case I run over.
I can't, I wish I could do that.
Um,
Not the first to try, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna, but just, my name's Jim Baduris, live in this subdivision. George, I just wanna thank you for taking time with us, and Mayor, thanks for all those nice words. But I do have a couple questions, and I just wanted to start out, I'm gonna borrow from a letter that, one of our, residents in our community sent to George and the mayor. And it was about Lamont, our natural resources and recreation. And I'm just gonna give this as a review for everybody here. In 2030, Lamont will be known as a community with exceptional opportunities for outdoor recreation, defining natural characteristics and quality open space. Stewardship of natural resources, including air, land, and water, will be paramount to healthy and active living. Our natural resources and recreation seeks to protect our exceptional natural assets and recommends actions to enhance our local recreation amenities. The chapter also creates a framework to ensure that we provide an adequate mix of park facilities for existing and new residents in the village. That is a wonderful statement. Unfortunately, not only does this 500,000 plus industrial setting impact us, because it's right behind our houses and our community, but it's right up against Bambrick Park. Obviously the trucks that are gonna be coming, I think they said there's maybe 100 bays for trucks, 53-foot trailers with signals, a large majority of over-the-road drivers who come in at all hours. That's gonna impact Hunter or Smith Road. Lamont residents coming across the street to Bambrick. Most importantly though, the buildings are gonna be 88 feet from our back fences. We're a community that has some old timers like me who have been there for 34 years, and then our community is growing with just young people and school buses and little kids and actually in those houses that are gonna have, I think we might have 4, 5, 6 houses that are gonna have the thing right up 88 feet from their yard. And they have little kids gonna be in those backyards. Those are things that, again, I wanna, continue to reiterate. The roads, safety on roads. So at the meeting, We asked questions, and it was great that Sterling Bay was there. It would have been nice if they would have answered a question. They were very good at not saying anything or then deferring to George. And we had questions about 24-hour. They deferred that to Lamont and to what Lamont rules would be. We had questions about lighting. We had questions about stoplights. The one thing Sterling Bay was proud to announce was that a year ago they had a study with, they had the Will County IDOT make a study on traffic light. Will County IDOT said there's, no traffic light. It's my understanding that probably the big reason for that is the distance from New Avenue to the entryway of the proposed facility. It's too close, so a light doesn't qualify. From a safety standpoint, I think we've all been on 135th Street, and once they moved it to 4 lanes, it's become a much higher thoroughfare. Probably some of the big issues from safety, when you're coming up from New Avenue and coming and heading east, you're going up a hill.
Hey, Jim, we're good.
Yes.
3 minutes, yeah, we're good. I understand, but all the safety comments, if you're right, and you probably are right, the Will County DOT will cover them. So I
Yes.
get it, but you're.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
again, just talking to the larger group, and I know, the mayor and your group are here, and we want to be good neighbors, okay? You mentioned about Woodbridge and all
Jim, if I
that.
let you go, I gotta let, you know what I mean. And we'll-
Got it. Hey, I thank you for the 4 minutes, but.
Yeah, you're good, Jim.
And Mayor
You
and
get,
George.
I'll give you an hour in
we'd
my
love to meet
office. I'll give you.
No, no, Jim, appreciate it.
Tomorrow.
And we hear you,
Yeah.
Jim. No, thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks.
I'm a 30-yard shot.
I'm Brian Badurs, Jim's brother. Live in the same neighborhood. I understand it's the beginning of the process and that. But I think all of us know that it comes to a certain point in the process, there's no turning back. So why we're here is we'd like to have a voice before it goes too far and raise our concerns. That's why we're relying on the board, because you're the ultimate. You guys, no matter what your staff says or anything, you guys can shut it down. My big thing right now is the safety. I'm a truck driver. I used to operate on Lamont Road. To bring this in context, on Lamont Road, I would ask you guys to talk to the fire chief in Lamont and ask him how many serious accidents were on Lamont Road. How many people have died? Because it's going to be a similar situation, 135th Street and Lamont Road. The IDOT, Will County IDOT, hasn't figured in human nature. And people driving trucks, driving cars, human nature takes over. They're waiting too long to pull out. I'm going, and everyone will adjust to me. And I can promise you, it's going to happen on 135th if those buildings are built. But I don't want the process to get along on the railroad track and all of a sudden, it's a done deal. So that's why we're here. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Travis Tukowski. I know it's just in the beginning phases, but the fact that you guys haven't even seen the proposal yet kind of shows that you don't know what we're looking at. There's a 30-foot, 216,000 square foot building within 100 feet of our neighbors' front doors. This is going to be a massive disturbance to our neighborhood, and although we're not actually Lamont residents, it will impact Lamont residents off of Smith Road. Surrounding our neighborhood is not conducive with your 2030 comprehensive plan. You pride yourselves on being a bedroom community, but this is completely against everything that comprehensive plan stands for. I know Sterling Bay, they're all about the money, all about the bottom line, but I'm here talking to you guys in person. I hope you guys have bigger hearts than you're looking for, and you're at the bottom line all about the money. So Please look at our families, look at our livelihoods, our safety. This is a community that's been around for 60 years plus. My mother-in-law is here. She lives in the same neighborhood. Her mother grew up in that neighborhood, and her father built the house that I live in. This is a multi-generational neighborhood. It just goes to show how strong the community is there. And surrounding us with warehouses is gonna tear us apart. So thanks for your consideration, and I hope you guys make the right choice and doing what's best for a community. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis.
Dave Wilkes here. How you doing, Mayor? Last
Doing
time I
good,
was here,
Thanks.
we talked 127th and High Road. You guys got to fix that thing. The water floods over that thing and everything else. You guys give me excuses that Citgo's going to fix it. I talked to Citgo. They got nothing to do with the road. The road is yours. The only thing that was supposed to be done down there is IDOT was going to put a light in at Archer and 127th Street. That didn't happen. They said it's going to cause more accidents down there. We've got tons of accidents there. Since these people are here for High Road or for 135th Street, need to let everybody know what's going on over there. All the people that are in the golf course are really upset. All the water that's shown on that thing is going to go through their front yards and across their roads. They don't want that. I don't want the water coming down through me. I specified that. Yeah, I see the retention ponds they got shown on there, but how they getting the water from the west side of that complex over to the side? Kyle's here too. The water runs through him, through us. Next problem you got is on High Road, and you guys know about the 20 acres LLD bought and tried to get annexed in and everything else. Well, he just bought the other 20 acres at High Road and 135th Street, and he wants to put trucking terminals in. Citgo's all for go green. I don't understand how this is happening. If they don't want no houses or everything, they want it for buffer zone. So, you know, one lie is telling another lie. We need to get this straightened out and find out what the deal is with this go green area. And if they put the trucking terminals in on High Road, that's a hell of a lot closer than all the stuff on Smith Road that you're saying is gonna stay green and they're not gonna build on it. So, you know, I'd like to have a meeting with, you know, you people, the builder and all that stuff, and find out what's going on and with Citgo. Because all I'm getting is lies from everybody. That's all I got to say for now. I had back surgery this morning, and I'm here. That tells you how pissed I am.
Thanks, Dave.
Kyle Lebowski here. Every time I've come out to a meeting, I came out to the first planning and development with the zoning commission. Nobody said a word. There's development plans. You guys plan on putting a pipeline up Smith Road, cutting through Bambrick, right over to 135th Street. I've talked to George and I've talked to Ron, and you both told me that's not happening. I talked to you in person, Ron, right here in this building, and you told me, that's not gonna happen. We're not doing that. That water main's not big enough. You can't develop warehouses and put fire suppression systems in without bringing your guys' water main up. Just today with the storm, my backyard rose 8 feet. Do the guy next to me, the 20 acres, and the acres up on 135th, pours right in. If they don't correct it, none of us want it. Safety concerns, environment concerns, everyone here has told a different story, and you all are getting caught up in your lies. And you damn well know it.
Thanks, Kyle.
Hello, thank you for having me, and Thank you for allowing everybody to speak here today. My name is Destiny Ortiz. I am a Will County Board Member in District 9. I'm here to support my constituents today because they are very upset on, what the village is trying to pull. They're trying to pull a fast one, I feel. A lot of these people have been in contact with people from the board and the villages of Romeoville and Dumont, and they're always getting the runaround or lies or this and that. And like they said, they really don't want this to go through. I feel like it is very important for our elected officials to listen to the people who live in the areas that, they elect you to these seats. And so as an elected official, I just want you to know that I'm not afraid to go door to door and let everybody know in this community what's going on, like I did today, and so that everybody can know that this is what you guys are planning, so that this small audience that you think is large is nothing, is gonna be nothing compared to the amount of people that are gonna come here when they find out what's going on. And this TIF that you guys approved, nobody wants it, nobody wants the 100 acres of warehousing. And I think that you guys need to really take that into consideration before you just tell people to let the process play out, because that's not what we want. We're telling you right here on the first day, no. So the next time a vote comes up, I hope that you guys are voting no, because that's what I would do. So, thank you so much.
I have
Thank
a
you,
question.
Destiny.
Miss, I have a question.
Yeah.
I understand that Citgo bought Big Run Golf Course, is that true?
I'm not sure as
Still
to,
in the works.
Oh, not done?
It's
Okay.
not done.
But-
I talked to Citgo about it and everything else, and that's another thing. You guys want these trucking terminals and everything, wanna build them out there on High Road or 135th, tell them going on to Texaco. Texaco's property is wide open, you can put all the trucking you want down there, and they're looking for people to build industry down there. Send them down there. And this baloney about water and everything else, everybody on this side of the canal's got water and septic, including Citgo, Mobile, Wagner, Concord, and everything else. This guy wants to build this thing, he can put well and septic in. I don't know what he's putting in these buildings, but what does he need well and, water and sewer for? Looks to me on them pictures, it's just a warehouse.
So to the best of your knowledge, the deal's not done with Citgo
It's
and,
not done, they're still working on it.
okay,
to the best of my knowledge too.
okay.
I just have one question.
Make it a good one.
Yeah, in regards to the golf course, just a question for me, when you look at a long-range plan, how viable is Big Run's beautiful golf course to development down the future? If, if 50 acres worth of industrial building is across the street from it. So whether the long term is for, Lockport to develop the golf course or Lamont to develop it, from a long-term standpoint, you're really gonna eliminate, what happens to that beautiful piece of property, so everybody's concerned.
I don't,
is
yeah, we're not,
quiet.
whatever, we're not talking about, bigger. I know you just talked, it's just a question
But I
about
mean, with
Citgo.
that,
Yeah.
going on, piggybacking on that question, it really, with Green's pace.
Yeah, as we know, I mean-
I don't have anything.
I put it this way, I don't think Sicko's buying it to put houses on there, so. That would be my guess.
I mean, it is simple buying it.
Their excuse is they wanna buy it for a buffer zone.
Hey, look, I think, and we could, it sounds like everyone had a
And again-
chance, everyone had a chance to speak. Thank you,
Yeah, again,
everybody. I think if anything, get together something in this area, with regarding, Big Run, as we've talked about, is south, we do have a boundary line agreement with Lockport, so that is south of our line with Lockport, and we've talked about that, but this area will, at some point, to develop, and who knows what it will develop as. It's good to have the conversation, and we'll continue to have that conversation. So it's good, thank you
I do
for.
have one question.
Yeah.
The public hearing piece, like, what's the limit? 60 days before, how much time do you provide when you start telling people that there's gonna be a public hearing? At what point are people actually gonna be notified?
Yeah, usually, no, it has to be posted and, it has to be communicated, at least 15 to 30 days prior to
That's
the.
it?
Yeah,
The
but
landowner will put
there
a
will
s-
be plenty of communication, there'll be more than that.
They'll
That's-
put a large sign on the property ahead of time.
Okay.
Yes, there will be plenty of communication prior. It will not be, anytime in the next couple months, I would.
Did we get emails or do we
I do have emails.
Because
have contact
what I'm
info.
hearing is that people are like, we're not being transparent. I thought we had emails and now
Letters,
I'm
emails.
concerned that people are not on it. So again, we're trying to make sure there's as much communication as
And
possible.
the emails were sent to yourself and to George. That's
Yeah.
who I
Yep.
directed.
I have a
No,
contact.
what I'm hearing from people, I didn't know about this. That's what I'm concerned about, so.
So we do have a contact list. We'll get everybody back in contact.
Trustee Sindagowski just reminded me that everybody within 200 feet of the, 250 feet of the property will get a letter about it.
Okay. 15 days
How about the people on
And the planning and zoning is an open meeting. You can voice your concerns to that commission. It won't be a closed meeting. It'll be open to the public like this, and you can voice your concerns.
zoning and planning tomorrow, correct?
They do not have a meeting tomorrow.
The first, Wednesday.
Correct. It's not on the agenda today.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
And I did
everyone.
have,
Appreciate it.
one other-
Thank you.
Yeah, and I did have, one other quick item, Ralph, I'll give you, since we do have I do get emails to me prior to the meeting, for people who can't make the, meeting for, it's a question about sidewalks. It's part of our capital plan. Ralph, you wanna take this one? Asking about gaps in our system, why are there gaps in our sidewalk
Oh,
system?
specifically today?
Yeah. you
Yeah,
wanna
so there are a
cover
lot
that?
of areas in town that have gaps in sidewalks, and the reason for those gaps usually is because the property owners own to the middle of the street, and we don't have any right-of-way to put sidewalks in.
Freehoff was,
Freehoff was specifically tonight, but
Oh,
there-
so
there-
areas where there's flat out not a
Right.
sidewalk. People wanna know why isn't it?
Right, there's a lot of gaps, and that's usually the reason that we don't have right-of-way to do so. And we ran into some issues years back when people do not want them. Some do, some don't.
so we'll
So
reach
it's
out
like-
and
yeah.
request an easement or right of way.
Absolutely, yeah.
And sometimes we'll have to pay for that right of way, and a lot of times, even though we're improving their property with the sidewalk, we're told no oftentimes.
Right.
So, that's why there are still gaps in the system, but we're working on it.
Yes.
That's the answer. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I do see that
So,
there's a planning and zoning
next,
commission meeting.
On the first.
Yeah, on Wednesday.
Yep. All right.
All right, so no executive session,
There is none.
correct? Okay.
That is correct.
With that being said, need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Well,
All right, we have,
Who seconded
uh,
this?
I'm sorry, I have a question I wanted to say about the refinery.
I can't hear this people.
Whatever, what we were talking about earlier, about the,
it's really not a Q&A, but go ahead. We'll let you do it. Yeah, go ahead.
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe she could come up here so I could hear.
When the land was annexed, like when this came out about the annexation, about bringing the water, it made it sound like it was just to have water for Bambrick Park. And in it, it said that like the refinery didn't have any immediate plans and it planned to use it for a buffer zone. So I was just wondering what spurred now development so quickly?
It's not quickly. It's been trying to be developed for the last 10 years. It's sold 3 times. They couldn't get water.
Sir,
They couldn't
Sir,
yeah, we
and
talked about
again-
not being a Q&A. We've been working with Citgo on a partnership for this entire area, so that it doesn't turn into unincorporated land that gets developed hodgepodge without utilities. So Citgo has worked with us on an annexation corridor so that we can have control over the area.
To do this?
Yes, correct. So they are working with us on an annexation corridor.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was the plan then?
So,
Now they've carved out, the majority of the area is for open space. So including High Road, it all has to be open space. Bambrick Park, yeah, so there's,
yeah, anything that's north of 135th Sitka, I mean, we do not have jurisdiction over anything south of 135th. That's Lockport. This is correct, but people are talking about Big Run being purchased and so forth, so we have no idea what's gonna go on. So, all right, with that being said,
We need a second now.
need a motion to adjourn,
Had the
please.
motion.
No.
Thank
hold
you.
on.
Okay, No, I'm sorry, gentlemen. No, I'm sorry, gentlemen. No, I'm sorry, sir. We'll talk to you afterwards. Let's talk one-on-one. I'll talk one-on-one.
We'll talk afterwards.
Well, I can't even hear half these people, so go ahead.
Second.
I just want to know, for the development on
Motion.
135th,
Motion is approved. Roll call, please.
Who's
I'm sorry,
second?
sir. Please respect, I mean, everyone's been respectful all night. In Lamont, this is how we roll. We respect each other. We don't talk out of turn. We respect what you have to say. Please give us the same thing in return, okay? We have no problem talking to you one-on-one afterwards, getting a meeting during the week. We had a process. Please stick with us, and please be respectful. That's what we want to be, and that's how we roll. So, again, more than happy to sit down with you.
Well, we'll talk after.
We'll talk afterwards. Let's just, please, let's
We'll
end the
talk
meeting.
after.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna read
Okay,
the
roll call, please.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Sitting on a motion to adjourn.
yes.
Yeah, we already got a
did.
first and a second.
Okay,
I didn't hear that.
so Kittredge, I didn't hear, okay. Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty is absent. Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Okay. Motion's passed.
Okay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, and have a great week.